for some strange reason, I never got into learning an instrument, so I never learned guitar or keyboards or anything. But there was always a strong force in me that wanted to make music. When I heard about the collaboration between Ableton and cycling, I was totally excited because I thought, so maybe today, which is now many years later, I learned a bit of programming in the meantime. Now maybe I could do my own plugins and patches and stuff like that. So I wanted to program something that helps me play. But the basic idea came from our laptop band project, A Critical Mass, that I have with Dixon and Ann. And it was about playing together without having any clue about notes and chords and harmonies and stuff like that. So that was also one of my biggest problems when I started as a musician. Of course I had a keyboard, I had a computer, I had a synthesizer, but then I pressed these buttons, but it was really hard to find out which notes fit together and how can you go, if you find one chord, which one is the next one and which one is the next one. I found that really, really difficult. So the idea was to create a patch that helps you find the right notes, even if you have no clue what notes are. So you press buttons and what is coming out should sound good. And also I wanted to make it possible for many people to play together, and everybody can press notes and they all fit. So that was one of the basic goals, get rid of the fear of pressing buttons. Yeah, so if you take a look at the plugin, how it looks, that's a MIDI channel, and I just dropped a sampler in here with a grand piano. And if I drop the Schwarzonator now, and when it opens, it looks like this. Here's a piano roll, and below are the main controls for the patch. It basically all starts by selecting a chord set. I select one which is called Leave My Head Alone Brain. Yeah, the chord sets are not going to be named, for example, like F major 7 or something, because that's very much musicians talk, and I think it's very difficult for somebody who doesn't know what that is to use it. So the chord sets are going to be called the same names as track names, for example. And so what the plugin does in the first place is it corrects all the notes you play to this certain scale or the certain chord set of the certain track. So if I press the C, the red light indicates the original note you played. And so if I press the D, it's still the D because it's allowed. And if you press the E, you can see the green light which indicates the target note. So the input note is a E, the output note is a C, because the E is not part of this special chord set. So if we return to the C again, and we want to turn this one note into a chord, you just turn the knob that says add notes, and you can decide how many notes you want to add. For example, if you add 2, you get these 2. If you add 3, you get this. And this already sounds quite nice. So and now you can go to whatever key you want, and it's always going to give you the right notes. Sounding like this. The second knob is called spread, and that's something that changes the chord you play by spreading the notes that are used in a chord, spreading them over the keyboard more or less. So if you turn the knob, for example, you press the C again, you get this chord, and now you can start spreading it over the keyboard, and that's sounding like this. Yeah, and you can see the higher the value goes, the more room the chord takes on the keyboard. You can decide whatever you think sounds best for your project. And of course that's happening for all the chords you play. Then there's a random function that just changes the chords a bit. It's always the same notes, but they're going to change their position on the keyboard, so that's going to sound like this. I keep pressing the same note, so it's easier to hear. And by the amount of random, you can decide how much space it uses on the keyboard. Yeah, octave shifts everything you do up and down 1 octave on the keyboard. That's sometimes helpful. So it just goes up and down. And there's another knob that's called dynamic, which adds a touch of velocity, randomness to the chords so that they don't sound so like stiff. And that sounds like this. And the last knob is called select, and that's for selecting the chord set. You can choose if you want to select here or if you want to select here. I made these two different options because this button you can automate from your clip, for example, and add some automation to the chord set you want to use, and that gives quite interesting harmonic results. So for example, I have a few notes here. It's actually just 2 notes, and they play this. And if I now add notes, and that's 2, that's 3. And if we now maybe automate the chord set, then that's going to sound like this. Now you can hear that all the notes that were in the chords were taken from the other set. Of course, this chord set change can be automated. If you just like go into the clip and then you go to this drop-down menu, you find the Schwarzonator patch, and now you get a list of all parameters that you can automate. I want to automate the select. Choose it, and I want to unlink this because I want to make the chord change not every time. So I make this a bit longer. 2, and then just see how it sounds. For example. And of course you can do crazy things here, jump from one to the next one and see what's coming out. Actually, the patch consists of 2 patches. One is the master, one is the slave. You use the master patch and you choose a chord set, and if you work on your own, for example, you just press a few buttons, you find a few nice harmonies maybe, and then you drop the slave into another of your MIDI channels, and you just press a few other buttons that you have the feeling that they might be right, and all the notes will be right. So I thought this could be a very intuitive way of creating music, because you don't have to think about what would be the right notes. And then if you have added your bass line, you're going to open another MIDI channel and even play maybe a solo or something, and it's also going to fit everything else. So now we have this clip running, and we also have a change of the harmonic environment already programmed in the clip. And so if, for example, now I want to add a bass line, then there's another patch that's called Little Brother. You can just drop it into any MIDI channel, and so when you drop it, it's connecting in the background to the master patch and gets all the note information that is necessary. So I'm also adding a piano sound to this channel. So if you drop the Little Brother into your MIDI channel, you can see what the master patch is sending into the network. And So whatever note you might want to play on your keyboard is going to fit to everything else you play. So I just press one button and it's following the chords that are played in the master. And so you can do crazy things here because you don't have to care what's going on, you just play. Yeah, so you can also press chords with as many notes as you want. So you can drop as many little brothers into as many MIDI channels you have, and they're all going to follow the master chord set, and so that's how it basically works. Yeah, Boogie Wesseltoft is one of the most fantastic piano players I know, and I had the chance to work with him. So in the beginning I was a bit shy because like he's sitting there on the grand piano, you sitting there with a small 25 keys keyboard, and you want to add something, or ideally you really play together. Of course I wanted to make the patch like that so that I'm gonna be able to play with him, and so basically with this now it should be possible, because like if he presses a few buttons and tells the system which scale or chord set he's using, then my system is getting the information which are the right notes, and I just can play whatever I want, and it's gonna fit. So that makes me feel much more safe than before, and so I can go on stage and just, yeah, play in a way, even if I can't. Well, I'm quite sure that Max for Live is gonna be another revolution now. I'm quite sure that many people out there are gonna make some crazy stuff. I'm so much looking forward to it, because live has been great already, but now in a way it's open. Like there's a really stable engine that is running, and now the engine is open to the ideas of everybody, and yeah, I'm excited to see what other people are gonna do.
And I want you to yo, people, I want you to raise your hand. Raise your hand.